Hello and welcome back to Money Gist Top 5. I'm Williamisi Dada. The Central Bank of Nigeria is rolling out one of its biggest reforms yet in the fixed income market, activating its S4 electronic platform as the only channel for submitting Treasury Bills auction bids. And it kicks off with a massive 700 billion naira issuance on November 20. This marks a major shift. For years, T-bills auctions relied on physical submissions and primary dealers who collected bids on behalf of investors. But after raising concerns about price distortions, insider advantage, and low transparency, the CBN is now moving everything to a centralized digital and dealer-neutral platform. Under the new system, every participant, including primary dealers, must submit bids directly through the S4 interface with no access to what others are quoting. That removes the old edge dealers had, where they could see investor bids and adjust theirs for better allocations. Analysts say this is the CBN's clearest step towards cleaner price discovery and zero collusion. And now to the numbers. The federal government will offer 100 billion naira in 91-day bills, 150 billion naira in 182-day bills, 450 billion naira in 364-day bills. It's a Dutch auction, meaning successful bidders pay the marginal rates. Bids open 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on November 19 with a minimum subscription of 50 million and 1,000 naira in multiples of 1,000 naira. The CBN also keeps the right to reject bids that don't match market conditions. Allotment letters go out November 20 with same-day settlement. Though S4 has existed since 2014, this is the first time it's been used as a primary auction engine, and by activating it, the CBN is sending a strong signal that government securities issuance is entering a new era of full transparency, tighter control, and stronger credibility. Nigeria's monetary policy push is finally delivering some relief as new data shows inflation easing for the second month in a row. Headline inflation slowed sharply to 16.05% in October, down from 18.02% in September. Core inflation also dipped to 18.69%, while food inflation recorded one of its steepest drops in months, falling to 13.12% from 16.57%. And it doesn't end there. Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves have surged to $46.7 billion, the highest level in 12 years. The last time reserves hit this mark was back in September 2013. This rebound is being linked to a wave of aggressive monetary and currency reforms rolled out by the Central Bank of Nigeria. First, a complete overhaul of foreign exchange management, starting with the unification of the foreign exchange market and the dismantling of multiple exchange windows. That move alone cut out billions of dollars in arbitrage and brought transparency back into the system. Foreign portfolio investors who had walked away during the uncertainty are now returning. Another major confidence booster was the settlement of verified FX backlogs, payments owed to airlines, manufacturers, and investors. Add to that reforms in the remittance space, better pricing for IMTOs, and high interest rates that have made Naira assets more attractive, and you begin to see why reserves have climbed back to levels last seen in the oil boom years of 2013-2014. The stronger reserve position is helping to stabilize the Naira and giving the CBN more room to manage volatility. Market watchers say the shift marks a clear break from past policies, with foreign investors now view Nigeria as a more predictable destination. CBN Governor Olayemi Kadoso insists the reforms aren't just quick fixes but a structural reset. As he put it recently, the goal is to build a transparent, market-driven FX system that restores confidence and supports long-term growth. Nigeria is launching a bold new economic strategy to fight inflation, boost growth, and double household incomes. It is called the Disinflation and Growth Acceleration Strategy, or DGAS, and it's the latest phase of President Tinubu's reform agenda, unveiled by the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Anite. DGAS sets ambitious targets: GDP growth above 7%, single-digit inflation, and a real reduction in poverty. The plan combines fiscal and monetary measures in a single-window execution platform, aligning the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank for coordinated results. At the heart of DGAS is capital mobilization. The government wants long-term funding from diaspora investment, global institutions, and guarantee-backed projects to reduce reliance on volatile short-term loans. It also also aims to replicate large industrial projects like the Dangote refinery across sectors, creating jobs, boosting tax revenue, and expanding wealth for households and investors. Energy diversification is another key pillar, with a mix of oil, gas, hydro, solar, wind, biomass, and hydrogen supporting industrial growth while tapping into global green financing opportunities. Human capital development is central too, with plans to train 10 million young Nigerians annually in technical and vocational skills tied to priority sectors. DIGAS will also expand consumer credits, giving Nigerians structured access to finance for housing, education, healthcare, and household goods, turning citizens into active participants in the economy. Regulations that stifle business will be reviewed, with up to 40% targeted for elimination. CBN Governor Olayemi Kadoso confirmed the central bank's full support, stressing price stability, investor confidence, and stronger macroeconomic fundamentals. Analysts say the gas could unlock real opportunities for small businesses, industry, and inclusive growth in a recovering economy. Nigeria's 2026 national budget is officially running late, and the clock is ticking. With less than 2 months to the end of the fiscal year, the federal government has still not presented the appropriation bill to the National Assembly. And this delay isn't just a date problem, it's a sign of deeper fiscal trouble. Findings show the Budget Office is still compiling the 2026 document, even though it was supposed to arrive at the National Assembly back in September. Ministries were given budget preparation instructions months ago, but the draft hasn't even reached Federal Executive Council approval stage. Why? Top officials say the rollover of the 2024 budget into 2025 complicated the entire process. And it gets worse. Several ministries are still operating under the 2024 budget because government's cash planning portal has been locked since May. No cash plan means no warrants. No warrant means contractors and workers can't get paid. Economists warn this breakdown of the January to December cycle is crippling planning and delaying capital projects nationwide. The state government is now juggling two capital budgets, 2024 and 2025, with very little progress on the 2025 side. And with 2026 being technical election year, delays could push spending far into next year. Still, analysts believe government may be taking extra time to align the numbers with economic realities and new tax reforms, but warn that if revenue rises and public spending doesn't improve, trust will collapse. For now, the 2026 budget isn't ready, the 2025 budget is barely alive, and Nigeria's fiscal calendar is hanging on life support. Major manufacturers are cutting back on bank loans on account of sky-high interest rates. In the first 9 months of this year, their combined borrowings fell 20.3% to about 2 trillion naira, down from 2.5 trillion naira last year. Instead, companies are turning to cheaper sources like equity, corporate bonds, and retained earnings. The result: finance costs plunged 52.8% to 662 billion naira, and profits soared. 9-month turnover jumped nearly 38% to 10.1 trillion naira, while profits swung from a 116 billion naira loss in 2024 to 2.5 trillion naira in 2025. Top borrowers like Boa Foods, Nestle, and Nigerian breweries all cut their loan books by around 20%, while giants like Dangote Cement and Guinness didn't borrow at all. Analysts say this shows how high interest rates are suppressing credit appetite, pushing firms to smarter, cheaper financing. Experts also note that macroeconomic stability, better FX liquidity, and recent reforms are helping boost profits. Still, rising input costs and inflation remain challenges. Bankers warn that if firms keep avoiding loans, banks' interest income could fall. Policymakers are being urged to reconnect banks with industry, ensuring credit is affordable without stoking inflation. In summary, manufacturers are financially stronger, borrowing less and profiting more, but the recovery is still fragile. With the right policies, next year could build on this rebound. And that's Money Gist Top 5 for you today. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more sharp, fast, and intelligent Nigerian business and economic insights. I'm William Isidada. See you in the next video.